Have you ever wondered who the richest man in history was? Was it someone like John D. Rockefeller, or perhaps a lesser-known figure? What about infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar? In this video, we're going to explore whether Pablo Escobar was truly the richest man in history. For those of you who don't know, Pablo Escobar was a notorious Colombian drug lord who made billions of dollars through the production and distribution of cocaine. Despite his criminal activities, he was known for his extravagant lifestyle and philanthropic efforts. But just how rich was he? In this video, we'll delve into the estimates of his net worth and explore how he amassed his wealth in the first place. So if you want to learn more about the fascinating story of Pablo Escobar and his wealth, please subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Let's begin. Who was Pablo Escobar? Pablo Escobar was a notorious drug lord, born in Colombia in 1949. He grew up in poverty and turned to crime at a young age. In his early teens, he started to make a name for himself as a small-time criminal, robbing tombstones and cars. But it wasn't until he began selling cigarettes that his true talents as a businessman became evident. With a keen understanding of supply and demand, he quickly established a lucrative trade in contraband cigarettes and soon expanded into other illegal activities. However, it was the drug trade that truly made Escobar a household name. In the 1970s and 80s, he became the leader of the Medellin cartel, one of the largest and most powerful drug organizations in the world. Under his leadership, the cartel was responsible for producing and distributing vast quantities of cocaine to markets around the globe. His cunning business acumen enabled him to deliver up to a staggering 15 tons of cocaine to the United States in a single day. With his immense fortune estimated to be worth billions, Escobar wielded it to attain unparalleled power and influence within the Colombian political and social arena. At the time of his death at age 44, his net worth at the zenith of his power was believed to exceed $30 billion, making him one of the wealthiest individuals in history. Using his boundless wealth, he indulged in a life of extravagance, purchasing extravagant properties, luxurious cars, and even his personal zoo. Despite his criminal activities, Escobar was widely admired in his home country for his philanthropy and his efforts to help the poor. He built hospitals, schools, and other public facilities, and was known for his charismatic personality and his ability to win the loyalty of his followers. However, behind the scenes, Escobar was involved in a wide range of criminal activities, from kidnapping and extortion to money laundering and murder. He was responsible for the deaths of thousands of people, including politicians, police officers, and rival drug traffickers. The untold tale of Pablo Escobar's drug empire. Pablo Escobar, the notorious drug lord, had a keen business sense that propelled his cocaine operation to new heights. He was a master of smuggling, even hiding kilograms of cocaine in airplane tires and other unconventional places. With his empire expanding rapidly, he acquired a fleet of aircraft to facilitate the transportation of the illegal substance. During the peak of his ruthless career in the 1970s and 1980s, Pablo made a staggering $420 million per week, an amount that most people could only dream of. His wealth was so vast that he eventually lost interest in money, and the Colombian government seized control of his 142 properties, including 20 helicopters, 32 yachts, and a fleet of 142 aircraft. Pablo's pilots were paid an astonishing $500,000 per successful cocaine shipment to the United States, and he even had a private jet reserved solely for transporting his money. Unlike traditional corporations, Pablo's net worth was in tangible cash, making his fortune even more remarkable. His luxurious mansion in Puerto Triunfo was a sight to behold, even outshining the White House. It boasted a private zoo filled with exotic animals such as rhinos, giraffes, hippos, and elephants from around the world. After his death, the mansion was turned into a museum, and the hippos were released into the wild, where they still roam free today. Pablo's fortune poured in so fast that he ran out of storage space, and he resorted to hiding cash in abandoned warehouses and even burying his remaining bills in the ground. He spent over $1,000 per week on rubber bands alone to secure his money. The drug lord's ingenuity in amassing wealth and his larger-than-life persona continue to captivate the public's imagination today. Pablo Escobar's complicated philanthropy. The notorious drug lord is known for his ruthless criminal empire that generated vast amounts of illegal wealth. However, he was also involved in philanthropic endeavors, including building homes and schools for the poor, sponsoring soccer tournaments, and funding political campaigns. Despite the positive impact of his philanthropy, his motives were not entirely selfless. He used these acts of generosity as a strategic tool to gain political power and public support. For example, he demanded that recipients of his aid publicly praise him and his criminal activities. He also founded a political party, called the New Liberalism, to gain control over the government and further his political ambitions. Moreover, some of the money he gave away was obtained through illegal means such as drug trafficking and extortion. In this sense, his charitable donations were inextricably linked to his criminal activities and served as a means of whitewashing his illicit operations. While Pablo Escobar's philanthropy helped many people in need, it was a complicated aspect of his legacy. His charity work was intertwined with his political ambitions and personal agenda, often tainted by his criminal activities. From philanthropy to politics. After years of philanthropic activities, Pablo Escobar decided to enter the political arena with a clear goal in mind. Through the Liberal Alternative Movement Party, he secured a seat in the Colombian House of Representatives in 1982 while battling extradition. However, this was only the beginning of a bloodbath that would leave thousands of people dead. Pablo's success in politics didn't sit well with everyone, and it signaled the start of a terrible bloodbath. The nation's Minister of Justice, who had supported him, became the first victim of his wrath. In an effort to stop evidence against him, he even set fire to the entire courtroom. Despite calls for his arrest from both the Colombian and American governments, Pablo's income never stopped coming in. He bribed government officials and police officers with his money, and over 4,000 people, including judges, police officers, journalists, and government officials, died as a direct result of his actions. The ultimate escape. After negotiating a deal with the government regarding his arrest, Pablo was eventually captured. However, he was able to turn his imprisonment into a luxurious experience. He had a swimming pool, a casino, a nightclub, and even a theme park at his so-called jail. When they tried to move him to a more formal prison 2 years later, he escaped, burning $2 million to keep his daughter warm when she was shivering in one of his hideouts. The legacy of a criminal mastermind. Pablo Escobar was perhaps the most violent drug lord in history, ruining millions of lives. However, there are some who see a different side of him, as he was known to help the less fortunate. Upon his death at the age of 44, about 25,000 people demonstrated at his funeral. For those whose lives he touched, he was seen as a Robin Hood figure. Despite this, his actions left a trail of devastation in his wake. So, was Pablo Escobar the richest man in history? While it's difficult to say for certain, it's clear that he was one of the wealthiest individuals of the modern era. Pablo's story is one of incredible wealth and power, but at what cost? If you had all the money in the world, what would you do with it? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one.